From ancient uses to modern crises, this is the comprehensive history of crude oil and its profound impact on the world. Vehicles moving on the roads, shining cities, everything suddenly stopped when Arab countries banned the export of crude oil in October 1973 due to the Arab-Israeli war. Half the world had come to a standstill. The prices of crude oil suddenly shot up several times. The prices of petroleum, diesel and gas started skyrocketing. People's lives had come to a standstill. The economy of powerful countries like America was on the verge of collapse. Factories were shutting down and big oil companies were on the verge of collapse. This incident told the world about the actual power of oil, and from here people started understanding the crude oil, which is called black gold. In reality, its essence is no less than real gold. But have you ever wondered where and how crude oil was first discovered? How did people's lives go on when there was no oil hundreds of years ago, and who controls the prices of oil? The history of oil is very old. Crude oil is formed due to the transformation of organic matter into hydrocarbons over millions of years. Crude oil, usually buried in the form of deposits, sometimes appears on the surface of the earth. This is the reason why human civilization had knowledge of oil since ancient times. For centuries, lighting the night was a challenge. By the 1700s, the world ran on whale oil, an expensive fuel that made whaling one of America's largest industries. But a cheaper alternative was on the horizon. In 1846, Canadian geoscientist Abraham Gesner discovered how to refine a new fuel he called kerosene. It was clean, easy to produce, and 15 times cheaper than whale oil, sparking a global lighting revolution. The demand for kerosene spurred the search for better raw materials. Soon, attention turned to a smelly black liquid found seeping from a salt well in Pennsylvania: petroleum. A banker named James Townsend saw its potential. He hired former railroad employee Edwin Drake to investigate the oil seeps. Convinced a fortune could be made, Townsend funded Drake's mission to do something no one had done before: drill specifically for oil. Drake formed the Seneca Oil Company and began his work, setting the stage for a discovery that would change the world forever. In 1858, Edwin Drake arrived in Titusville, Pennsylvania, to drill for oil. Met with skepticism, locals dubbed him Crazy Drake. He persevered through constant setbacks, even inventing new drilling techniques. Finally, on August 27, 1859, his team struck crude oil at a depth of 69 feet. The discovery ignited a massive oil rush. Titusville was transformed into Oil City as production skyrocketed. This single well sparked an oil revolution, and America soon became the world's largest producer, fueling a new industrial age. As the 20th century began, the global search for oil reached the Middle East. The first major breakthrough came in 1908, when a British company struck oil in Persia, modern-day Iran. This discovery established a pattern of foreign control, with profits flowing overseas. The search continued, and in 1938, an American company, Aramco, discovered vast oil reserves in Saudi Arabia. At the time, Saudi Arabia was one of the world's poorest nations, its economy based on little more than date farming. But the oil discovery was immense. Wherever the company drilled, oil gushed out, transforming the country from a barren desert into one of the richest on earth. This story of discovery and transformation repeated across the region, making oil the foundation of Middle Eastern economies. There was a time when the supply of oil was high and its demand was low. Therefore, in order to export more, one country was ready to export crude oil at a lower price than the other country. Now, due to this high export, competition started increasing in those countries where oil was present in large quantities. Due to this increasing competition, all these oil-exporting countries started incurring losses. So, in the Baghdad Conference of September 1960, 5 countries together formed a group which was named OPEC, that is, Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries. Initially, it included oil-producing countries like Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Iraq, and Iran. Later, 8 more countries joined it, and the number of OPEC members increased to 13. This organization decides how much oil is to be produced within the member countries of OPEC and at what price it is to be exported. However, Russia and America kept themselves away from OPEC and said that we will decide the price of our oil ourselves. However, later in December 2016, OPEC made an agreement with 10 non-OPEC countries, which included countries like Russia and Kazakhstan, and in this way OPEC came to be known as OPEC+. As the production of oil was increasing in the world, machinery and vehicles for its use were also increasing rapidly. Big cars were also being imported in India, but people did not know that this story was going to take a new turn. Energy crisis came in October 1973. The situation had become such that big American cars like Buicks and Impalas stopped appearing on the roads of India, and in their place cars like Fiat and Standard Herald started appearing. After World War II, there have been two major oil crises in the world. The first oil crisis happened in 1973, when the Arab countries of OPEC refused to export oil to America, Japan, and Western Europe. In those days, these countries used to consume half of the total crude oil production of the world. However, they did not take this decision overnight. Rather, in those days, the pure war was going on in which Syria and Egypt were fighting against Israel. Arab countries have always been against Israel, but the Western countries America and Japan were supporting Israel in this war. In showing displeasure over this, OPEC imposed oil export embargo on these countries. Initially, this ban was limited to Canada, Japan, Netherlands, UK, US to a large extent because these countries were openly supporting Israel, but gradually it was extended. Later, countries like Portugal and South Africa were also included in it, and oil supply was stopped there, due to which there was recession even in a superpower like America. Although this conflict lasted for about 3 weeks, the impact of this conflict on the whole world was unexpected. Globally, this oil crisis had such a deep impact that within 4 months, that is in March 1974, when the ban ended, the oil prices had increased from $3 per barrel to about $12 per barrel. Meanwhile, in 1974, the United States prepared a list of 30 developing countries that were most affected by this oil crisis. Unfortunately, India was at the top of this list. The situation improved after this, but a few years later in 1979, another major oil crisis occurred, the major reason for which was the Iranian Revolution in Iran. Social unrest had spread badly in Iran, and due to this, the Iranian oil industry went into a huge loss. Due to this, oil production in Iran slowed down considerably. Due to low production of oil, the demand and the supply chain increased significantly, and due to this, oil prices increased at a large level. The situation worsened further due to the start of the Iran-Iraq war after this. In 1981, the price of oil had gone to $32 per barrel. In the year 2020, the price of crude oil suddenly became negative, and this happened for the first time in history. The oil which was available at $18 per barrel in April 2020, the same oil had reached -37 per barrel by May 2020. The main reason for this sudden fall in the price of crude oil was the COVID pandemic. Most of the industries in the whole world were closed. Vehicles were confined to homes. Oil importing countries had reduced oil imports. Due to the stoppage of oil supply, the trade of crude oil exporting countries started to come to a halt, and their economies started falling day by day. Therefore, a meeting was held between OPEC countries where it was decided that OPEC will reduce oil production so that stability is maintained in prices. After this meeting, OPEC asked its alliance, that is OPEC plus countries, to reduce oil production. But Russia did not listen to OPEC and increased its oil production further. In the market where the supply was already high, the prices of crude oil suddenly fell due to Russia's indiscriminate oil production, and the oil industry market crashed completely. With this, the alliance of Russia and OPEC also ended. This is true. If there was no oil in the world, perhaps the world would not have been so beautiful. Neither the industry would have been able to develop so fast, nor such infrastructure. But this oil also has a dark side. The dangerous pollution caused by oil and gas-based industries is spoiling the environment. In the countries where oil is extracted, the oil gets mixed in the water due to leakage of pipelines, due to which drinking water is getting polluted. Due to this, entire species living underwater are getting extinct. Large forests are being cut down in search of oil, due to which wild animals are getting extinct, and the spills from oil and gas refining are directly harming the soil. And this is the reason why today most countries of the world are turning towards renewable energy. Electric vehicles are rapidly coming into the market. Countries like Norway, which are self-sufficient in terms of oil, for also using electric vehicles. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to Invention Chronicles and Science, and for more content. Don't forget to like and leave a comment below.